Liz Williams here. So glad to be with you again live in our Facebook group, Business Women Giving Back. Today I'm going to talk to you about the second in a series that I'm doing called Tips from the Giving Guru. And this one is called the NeverNever List. And this is how not to give away your hard-earned cash. And I put this together because I find that when I'm working with clients or women in my community, they tend to take an approach to philanthropy or giving back that is what I would call haphazard, or they've even used the term willy-nilly. So they kind of react rather than think intentionally or creating a strategy or plan about their giving. And so when I work with them one-on-one or in my course, Impact from the Inside Out, what we do is we actually create what I call a portfolio of giving. So this is a plan that you can use on an ongoing basis to know where and when and how to give. But we're not going to get into that today. We're going to just go to some of the basics. And so I have created, as I said, the NeverNever List, how not to give away your hard-earned cash. Now, some of the tips that I include in there are really basic, but they're important because sometimes I find that when we're not being intentional, we do things that, although are from the goodness of our heart, they're not typically effective. And we're going for effectiveness and impact here in our Facebook group. So, for example, the first couple, door-to-door solicitation, over the phone, or in the mail solicitation. So those are places where you don't want to just react and give because something touches your heart. You really want to be thinking about who you're giving to, where you're giving your money. So I talk in more depth in the list, the Tips from the Giving Guru list, but those are just some really obvious ones. Another place where this can happen is television ads. So you're sitting there and you're watching TV and something comes on and you see an image and a story that breaks your heart and you think, I have to give. And once again, it's not bad that you're doing that, but you don't know anything really about the organization and you don't know for sure how your money is being used. And so I just want you to start thinking about digging a little bit deeper before you just give away funds. Two tips that I want to really make clear today are to never give immediately following a natural disaster. And that sounds like, why would I not do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, as you'll see it oftentimes, there is a flood of giving. And what happens is organizations that are set up to take those funds may not be able to take that flood of giving and actually do things effectively with it. So what I suggest is that you wait a little bit until things settle down. The other thing is that can happen after a natural disaster is organizations pop up that are not for real, and they give that name. Giving to fight the fires to help the victims of the fires in California, but it may not have anything to do with that. They may not be using your funds in the right way. So I don't want you to just leap into that. I want to make sure that you settle out a little bit, see what's happening, determine where to give, and I suggest that you look at an organization called the Center for Disaster Philanthropy. This is an organization that actually vets those organizations that are giving money away. And this is a great place for you to go, see where they're suggesting you give, see if they have a fund set up, and then you can be sure that your money is being used in the best possible way. The last thing I want to say with regards to the list is, before you give, absolutely take some time to look at the rating agencies. So Charity Navigator is a very popular one, and my personal favorite is GuideStar. And when you go in there, you can put in the name of an organization, or you can put in a cause that you're interested in, an area that you're interested in, and see who's been vetted. And those organizations are rated based on how effective they are. In fact, what I love about GuideStar, so GuideStar gives the, silver, gold, platinum, that type of rating. And organizations that receive a platinum rating actually talk about the impact they're having. So they go the extra mile to let you know how they're carrying out their mission. So I absolutely encourage you, as a first step, always to look at the rating agencies as a minimum. So that's the list. You can get that list from, if you look at the welcome video in this group, there's a link to this list and you can get this series if you want to read a little bit further. But the other thing I want to just touch on today goes back to this idea of being intentional versus being reactionary. So we call it either reactionary or visionary giving, or reactionary or visionary activism. And we in this group want to be all about the visionary activism or visionary giving. And why is that? Because we want to go to a deeper level of giving. We don't want to be haphazard, and we don't want to be willy-nilly. Our money and our time is valuable, and we want to use it in the best way we can to be sure that we're affecting real change. Sometimes what happens when we're reacting is we're reacting from a place of anger, and we then become against something. We're against something, and you see a lot of this going on right now, a lot of division because we're against this or that, and we're against each other. I want us to start thinking about what we're for. I want us to start taking that holy rage or that sacred anger and shifting it so that we actually act on inspired action or conscious action. This is a much more positive approach to giving, and in the end, it's going to be much more effective. What I would love to see in this group is that we begin acting kind of from a place of love and on behalf of what we're for. We look at what breaks our heart. We look at what enrages us. And we shift it and we say, now how can I do something? How can I be for something that addresses that in the most positive way? This is what will lead us to becoming agents of change. And that's what we are. We have that ability. We have that potential. That's why we're here. So I want us to start kind of shifting the mindset and thinking about, what am I for? How can I help? And what inspired action can I take? And we'll be talking more and more about that in this group. So that's what we're here about in Businesswomen Giving Back. I hope that was valuable. Please leave comments and please share this video if you think there are others that would benefit from it. And I look forward to being with you again soon. Thanks.